Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I'm your host Stan Rattan, and this is a blue collar wine show where I try to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. How do I do that? I taste and review the wines, and the rest is up to you. I review, the rest is up to you. Well, I'm kind of excited, you know, the Seahawks, they won against the Panthers handily. It was a little dicey the first half, but you know, then they just kind of took things in their own hands. Excellent, of course, with the awesome Legion of Boom, Cam Chancellor. Pretty amazing stuff. So we're showing a little bit of the Seahawk love today on a Monday. Thanks for watching. Got my bottle of Maker's Mark I got last year when they won the Super Bowl, and I said I would open it and try it if they made the next time they made the Super Bowl. It may be. I am almost positive it will be this year. I don't think Green Bay has a chance against the Seahawks. Seahawks have always dealt them a stiff game. And just a little cool thing that I want to share with you guys. I don't know if you can see this or not. This was my #1. I reviewed this not too long on my wine program. This was my #1 wine under $20, and so the sales rep that has this wine engraved it. Stan the Wine Man, best value 2014. Smart move, Matthew. That was a good move. Nice touch, and it's something I can keep around for a long time. It's very cool. I like it. Good idea. Great marketing. Great way to try and get my back pocket. No, not really. No, I consider Matthew a friend, and that was a very nice touch. Just wanted to share that with you guys. Very cool. So, I know that most of you do not drink wine while you're watching the playoffs. I'm an exception. I do drink wine while I'm watching football, and I'm sure there's some of you out there that do that. So I thought, you know, it'd be kind of cool to pick a wine that, you know, just doesn't have a lot of tannins, a little bit high in acid, which you might need for some of the food you're eating, but you know, just some interesting wines. So we're doing Barbera from Italy, and you know, I always like Barbera. You'll see Barbera stacked at my store a lot of times because it's such a good value. Now they're not all inexpensive. We got one here that rolls in at close to $40, but Barbera. Interesting fun fact is I was talking to Kermit Lynch, who's a importer of Italian wines and other wines, and he's pretty well known in the wine world. Kermit Lynch, he wrote a book. But I was talking to him, and he said whenever he went up to northern Italy and, you know, spent time with the winemakers and the winery owners, he said when he sat down to eat dinner with them, the one wine that they poured, the only wine they poured, was Barbera. I thought that was pretty interesting. Now these are the guys that make Barolo, Barbaresco, big wines. I'm sure they have cellars full of them, but he said that's the wine of their choice to eat or to drink with their meals, was Barbera. That was kind of a fun fact. So we're going to try 3 Barberas, see how they're showing. A couple of these I pulled out of my cellar myself that had been sitting there for a while, and I thought, hey, this will be fun. Let's do a little Barbera thing. As if you're going to have Super Bowl food, little smokies, nachos, whatever you might have, Barbera is a nice play for those types of foods. So let's get started right off. This is Pico Macario, Piedmont Barbera, Barrow, it says down there, and this is a, where's the vintage? I thought I had a 2011 Barbera. This rolls in at $12. So Barbera is pretty cool. They have Barbera di Asti and Barbera di Alba. Barbera di Asti is from the province of Asti. Barbera di Alba is from the province of Siero. Yep. Cunero. Excuse me. I had it. I lost it. C-U-N Cunero. I think that's what it is. I have to look again. Anyway, let's see what we get on the nose with this Barbera from Pico Macario. And all of these are from the region of Piedmont, Italy. You'll see it several different ways. Piedmont, sometimes with an E at the end. Sometimes they leave the D out. P-E. In this particular one they do that. Piemonte. So you'll see it spelled several different ways. Let's see what we get on the nose with this one. I get a lot of like dusty rocks, a little bit of licorice coming through. A lot of dried herbs. Almost a raspberry component. I was really leaning into that one. I threw myself off with that C-U-N. I lost it. It was the first time I've ever really seen the name of that town. I always thought it was Asti and Alba, but this is from a Cunero, I think is how they say it, but I'm not positive, so don't quote me on that one. Anyway, that threw me off. Sorry. There's an interesting, almost like an oatmeal component coming through. I get a lot of crushed rock. Let's see what we get on the palate. Cuneo, as I think there's no R. Cuneo. That irritates me when I look at something and I try and remember it and it just doesn't come back to me. Cuneo is, I think, how they say that province up there. Anyway, very soft on the mouth. There's not a lot of... Barbera is not known for having tannins, so that's why it's a good starter wine for those who are just trying to get into old world wines. You know, you might want to go with the Barbera because it is softer in tannins. I get raspberry, I get a little bit of cherry and currants coming through. Like I said, very soft, but it has good flavors. A little bit of black tea, which is interesting. A little tea leaf component coming through. The crushed rocks are kind of there, but it's all very tame. It's a very soft wine. $12, it's a good value play. I'm going to go B- on that one, only because it's a little bit light. But for you that are wanting to have it with food, it's a great food wine. There's enough acid there. And I think it's a great value play for $12. Good flavors. No, B-. Still, great wine. Let's move on to the next one. This is Araldica Albera Barbera, 2007. Wonder how long I've had that out in the cellar. This rolls in at $11, and it's from the province of Asti, Barbera di Asti, up in Piedmont, Italy. There you go. Like I say, I could do Barbera shows all the time. I just love this wine. Like I said, it's a good value, but even the more expensive ones, they just have a lot of things going on. Like even that one for $12. I mean, B-, come on. Good wine, great with food. You understand why they do it that way, why Kermit said what he did. Okay, so let's see what we get on the nose with this one. Now this has a little stink action on the nose. I get the tea coming through. Like dried... There's a dried fruit component with this, and very perfumey on the nose. In other words, there's a lot of perfume that's more striking aromatics. I get currants and raspberries, like black raspberries all day. Is it really a black raspberry? I always see that black raspberry. There's got to be a... Yeah, there's black raspberries. Or a really ripe raspberry, almost on the dried side. Actually, that's what I'm getting out of it. Okay, let's see what we get on the palate. Now mind you, this is over 7 years old, still has a lot of acidity, which is very interesting. Still has a lot of stuff going on. I get almost a cranberry note coming through on the back end of this. I get a lot of like bark notes blended with cherries and currants. There's crushed rock notes coming through, which is quite interesting. Again, this is a lighter Barbera. $11, 7 years old, still drinking nice. Got a lot of that old world kind of crushed rock, earth thing going on, but still has a fruit, cranberries, cherries, currants. We get a little bit of black tea coming through. I'm going to go B- on that one too. I think that's a really good wine. And the fact that it's 7 years old for $11 and it's still drinking good, that's amazing. Don't you think it's amazing? That's a nice surprise. I doubt if you'll be able to get the 07, but I'm sure the newer vintages are drinking just fine. Okay, now we're going to go to the big bad boy. This is, looks like AD or GD Vera, GD Vera or AD GD Vera, I think. Barbera de Alba. So this is Cuneo, the region of Cuneo, up in Piedmont. Yeah, there it is, GD Vera, sorry. I'm holding it up here. This rolls in at $38. So not all Barberas are cheap, but there are ones that are a little bit, this is superior, it says on here. Unfortunately, a lot of producers now are adding oak to the Barbera, which traditionally was not something that they did. They did not use new oak. But it's starting to become a trend up there to use some newer French oak on the wines. And there's a lot of purists out there that don't like that. Now, I don't really care what they do as long as it tastes good. And that's really the bottom line, right? Is it worth $38? Let's see. There's a lot more intensity on the nose right off the bat. There is. This one's much deeper. I get a lot of, there's currants and tea and raspberry coming through. A little bit, I smell wood, but that just could be my imagination because I just said that. But not a huge amount. If there is wood, it's barely. It could be the earthiness of the wine. A little bit of leather coming through. Let's see what we get on the palate. Nice fruit on this. This is like it really fills your mouth up with the cranberries and, ripe cranberries, not tart. Cranberries and currants, and get just a touch of raspberry coming through. Almost a little plum action. Like the initial attack is like this, like sweet tannins, but they're not tannins. It's sweet fruit up front, but it's very dry on the finish. It really dries up. Right at the initial attack, you get that sweet fruit. Then the minerality comes through. Then the little bit of just a tiny bit of grip. You can sense the acid on this wine. It's there, making it a beautiful food wine. I could pop little smokies all night and drink this wine with it. Little mini sliders. If you're doing a barbecue slider, this would be beautiful. If you're doing just regular sliders, it'd be great. I'd do this with nachos, sans the salsa, of course. Salsa's a tough play with high acid salsa with high acid wine. Might be a little bit goofy on the palate, but it still might work. I get a little bit of rose petal and lavender coming through. Not lavender. Yeah, lilacs coming through, some purple flowers. This is a beautiful wine. It really flows nicely across the palate. You get that, like I said, you get that nice sweet fruit, but with the dryness, the acid, and then it dries out into mineral driven. I love this wine. I'm going to go A minus, A to A minus on that wine. I think it's a beauty. You know, and they're all really good. I mean, you know, if I can find a B minus $11 Barbera that lasts for 7 years, I'm stoked. So there you go. What are you going to drink while you're watching the playoffs this weekend? While you're watching Seahawks beat, let's see, what's my prediction? Green Bay, you know, Green Bay has a good offense, but, you know, Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he's injured right now. I don't know how he'll be next weekend. He's gets a little bit jumpy around the Seahawks defensive backs. I was talking to a buddy at work today, and he was telling me that you know, he stayed away from Sherman the whole game at the beginning of the season. They beat Green Bay. Green Bay's defense is pretty good. I'm going to go Seahawks 35, Green Bay 17. Seahawks 35, Green Bay 17. Seattle is going to go back into the Super Bowl, and I still believe they're going to be playing the New England Patriots, even though I like the Colts. I can't stand the Patriots. Colts are getting there, but they're not quite there yet. You know, I understand that Peyton Manning was hurt for about a month, so he didn't play very well in that game. But, you know, Andrew Luck's a great quarterback. He is going to be a Hall of Famer if he's not already. Thanks for watching, and remember, there's nothing mysterious about wine. Wine is not a mystery. It's just fermented grape juice. Always trust your palate. Don't let anybody ever tell you what you should like. But always remember, don't get caught in a rut. Be experimental. Try new things. And if we do that together, we can take the snob out of wine.